DKU TV.
Enter Marzeres, my Thrixoparma Ockerti, the Peru flame rump. She spends most of her time either wandering about like an avic around her enclosure, or tucked into a dark corner of her enclosure avoiding the light. Two traits that lead to a bit of controversy at times against tarantula hobbyists as to whether or not the T. Ockerti is arboreal or terrestrial. I think there's a better question. Is the T. Ockerti more arboreal or more terrestrial? Which does this species portray more tendencies of, arboreal or terrestrial? One answer is neither or both. Another answer is answered with a question. Which does your particular specimen have a tendency to deploy? I could in no way speak or answer for any other tarantula enthusiasts when it comes to their specimens, but I can speak for mine. Marzeres, for the most part, reminds me of an avic, just not on the total scale of an avic. She spends the majority of her time on the glass, however not high up on the glass, but rather at the base, about an inch from the substrate. In fact, the only time I see her walk completely on the substrate is when she's feeding, and once she's finished her meal, she ascends back upon the glass and wanders about, much like my Avicularia or Avicularia luna. Another trait in this discussion is temperament. Most arboreal tarantulas are very fast, very skittish, and very defensive. Again, I can't speak for anyone else's teas in the hobby, but I can speak for my arboreals, which on average shows these traits, and my T. Ockerti does as well. Marzeres is, in fact, very fast, very skittish, and very defensive, but only at times. She's also very bipolar, which makes her unpredictable. She doesn't throw up threat postures. Peru flame rumps always raise their rumps in the air to ward off enemies and threats. I could never handle her, however. There are days when I'm sure she would bite me if I gave her the chance. All that being said, I would say that my beautiful Marzeres definitely has more arboreal tendencies than terrestrial, and in a way I think of her as an arboreal. Even her enclosure is set up like an arboreal, much like my Ava avics. Marzeres does well with the setup, and without a doubt is one of my true lookers in my collection, and one of my favorite teas in my collection. This tea, if you don't have one, is highly recommended. Go get one as soon as possible. Eclipse, my Brachypalma albopilosum, the Honduran curly hair. A true pet rock, she rarely moves, but looks can be deceiving. The lack of physical movement throughout the day doesn't mean she's by any means inactive. All I have to do is toss in a worm or a cricket, and suddenly I'm reminded just how light and fast this sweet curly hair can be. Incredibly fast. Although Eclipse spends most of her time lounging around the entrance to her hide, because of her sweet temperament, I obviously have no problems whenever I want to take a good look at her and her beauty, which is quite often. It's funny when someone for the first time sees this tea in person or even in a well-taken photo. They always have some type of unique look on their faces, ranging from curiosity to amazement. It's gotta be the hairs. Imagine what a B. albopilosum would look like without its bad hair day appearance. Most likely it would look like a bulky brown B. vagans, but with those insane hairs, it just gives this tarantula so much personality and uniqueness. The hairs add to the attractiveness of the tea, and makes it a must-have in any hobbyist collection. I certainly could not imagine my collection ever being complete without a curly hair. Let's take it further than the morning wake-up of hair tragedy, and move on to a few other aspects that add to the beauty of this albopilosum. The carapace. It's just stunning. Eclipse has a strikingly golden carapace with black markings ripping through it like lightning. Even the contrast of our golden hairs against the black abdomen is beautiful. As a whole, the Honduran curly hair is a marvel to look at, and a great tarantula to raise and own, especially if you're a beginner. That concludes this editorial. I'm Dilla Tonight. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Have a good one.